The house was eerily quiet, with only the steady ticking of the grandfather clock in the hallway breaking the silence. Outside, the wind whipped through the skeletal branches of the trees, carrying the weight of an impending storm. Snowflakes clung to the large bedroom window like ghostly hands, pressing against the glass, but inside, everything remained still. Too still. I shifted beneath the heavy covers, caught somewhere between sleep and wakefulness. Something felt off. A muffled sound slithered through the dark, curling around my subconscious like a snake. At first, I brushed it off, probably just the heating system kicking in or the wind wailing through the night. But then I heard it again. No, this wasn't the house settling or the winter storm outside. This was different. This was human. My eyes snapped open, my body instantly alert. I listened closely. Soft, breathless sounds, faint, but unmistakable. The kind of sounds that didn't belong in a quiet marital home at 2 in the morning. A chill spread through me, though it had nothing to do with the bitter cold outside. My heartbeat, usually steady and strong, slowed into a measured rhythm, as if already bracing for impact. For a few seconds, I lay still, staring up at the ceiling. My mind was a battlefield, torn between logic and the creeping realization lurking in the shadows of my thoughts. Then, with the controlled movements of a man unwilling to accept the worst, I sat up and placed my feet on the cold hardwood floor. The sound was coming from the ensuite bathroom. The door wasn't shut all the way. A sliver of golden light spilled into the dark bedroom. And there, just beneath the rush of running water, I could hear it clearly now. Laughter. A low, hushed chuckle. Intimate. Sinful. And it wasn't my wife's usual laugh, the one I had known for years. No, this was different. This was something she had never shared with me before. My breath left me in a long, steady exhale as I rose to my feet. My bare steps were soundless against the wooden floor as I moved toward the bathroom door. I paused for a second, staring at that thin strip of light, the only barrier between me and a truth I wasn't sure I was ready to face. Part of me wanted to turn around, walk away, pretend I had never woken up. But the other part, the darker, colder part of me that had been growing ever since I first suspected something was wrong, needed to see, needed to know. With the quiet precision of someone trained to notice every detail, I nudged the door open. Immediately, the scent of lavender body wash hit me. But beneath it, something else lingered. Something heavier, muskier. A scent that did not belong. Steam curled through the air, distorting the figures inside. But there was no mistaking what I was looking at. There she was. Lauren, my wife of 7 years, was pressed against the marble shower wall. Her arms clung to another man's shoulders, someone younger, someone who did not belong in our home. For a brief moment, I felt absolutely nothing. No anger. No sadness. Just a cold, detached awareness, like I was watching a nightmare unfold in someone else's life. Then, something inside me cracked. But I didn't yell. I didn't slam the door. I didn't demand an explanation. No. I did the one thing they never could have expected. Without a word, without an outburst, I simply turned around and walked away. As I moved down the hallway, my steps slow and deliberate, I could still hear them, lost in their betrayal, oblivious to the fact that they had just been caught. But not for long. Not for long at all. The moment I stepped away from that bathroom door, something inside me went cold. Not rage. Not sadness. Just pure, calculated detachment. I wasn't going to give them the satisfaction of seeing me break. I moved through the house with an eerie calm, my bare feet making no sound against the hardwood floor. Behind me, their laughter had stopped. Maybe they sensed something was wrong. Maybe they had finally realized they weren't alone. But I didn't stop. I didn't slam the door. I didn't confront them. I just walked out. Through the hallway, past the wedding photos that suddenly felt like relics from another lifetime. Down the stairs, into the living room where the fire still crackled, warm and inviting, unaware that my entire world had just collapsed. I sat down in my chair, my eyes locking onto the flames. My mind wasn't racing. It wasn't clouded with what-ifs or desperate justifications. No, my thoughts were sharp, methodical. A plan was already forming, clear and unstoppable. Upstairs, I heard movement. The soft shuffle of hurried footsteps. A door creaking open. Then silence. I waited. And then, footsteps on the stairs. Lauren's. I didn't turn my head when she entered the room, wrapped in a towel, her damp hair clinging to her shoulders. She stopped a few feet away, hesitant. I could feel her staring at me, could almost hear the gears turning in her mind as she tried to figure out what to say. "Ethan," she stuttered, her voice carefully measured. "I can explain." A slow exhale left my lips, controlled. I finally looked up at her, and the way she flinched told me everything. She wasn't sorry. She was scared. Not of me, but of what I might do. I didn't say a word. Behind her, Christian appeared at the base of the stairs, wearing nothing but a pair of my sweatpants, probably grabbed in a hurry after realizing their situation. He wasn't smug anymore. He wasn't cocky. He was cautious, watching me the way a man watches a ticking bomb. Lauren tried again. "Ethan, please. Just let me talk to you." I tilted my head slightly, studying her. There was no point in arguing. No point in screaming. I had nothing to say to her. Instead, I stood up, walked past them both, and locked the front door with a quiet click. Lauren's breath hitched. "What are you doing?" Christian tensed. "Man, let's not do anything stupid." I turned to face them, my expression unreadable. "I'm not the one who did something stupid." Then I walked past them again, toward the fireplace. The flames flickered as I picked up their pile of clothes, their phones, their wallets. Everything they had discarded in their rush to betray me. Lauren's face paled. "Ethan, don't." I dropped them into the fire. The flames roared to life, consuming every last shred of their comfort, their safety. Christian swore, lunging forward. "Are you insane?" I turned back to them, my voice calm. "You don't belong here anymore." Lauren's eyes darted between me and the fireplace, realization sinking in. "Ethan, it's freezing outside." I didn't respond. I just stepped aside and gestured toward the front door. Christian's hands curled into fists. "You think this is funny?" I met his gaze, steady and unflinching. "No. But I think it's fair." Lauren's breathing quickened. "Ethan, please. Get out." Her lips parted, as if she wanted to beg. Maybe even demand. But there was nothing she could say that would change what was coming. She hesitated. Then Christian grabbed her arm. "Come on," he muttered. "We'll figure it out." But the moment they stepped outside, the brutal wind hit them like a slap. Lauren gasped, hugging the towel tighter around herself. Christian swore. "Damn it, where's my phone?" Lauren turned to me, eyes pleading. "Ethan, please." The door slammed shut between us. The lock clicked into place. And inside, the fire kept burning. The wind outside howled, an unforgiving force slamming against the house as if demanding to be let in. The snow had thickened, covering the walkway in a thick, merciless layer of ice. Lauren stood there, barefoot and trembling, clutching the towel against her body like it was armor. Next to her, Christian was rubbing his arms, his breath already coming out in thick, visible puffs. The night wasn't just cold, it was brutal. And they had nothing. No keys. No phones. No clothes. I stood behind the locked door, watching them through the peephole for a moment. It wasn't satisfaction I felt. It wasn't triumph. It was just silence. The silence of something that had already been broken beyond repair. Lauren pounded on the door with both fists. "Ethan, open this damn door." I didn't move. "Ethan, stop acting like a child. Let me in so we can talk about this." Still nothing. Her breath hitched as the reality of the situation started to sink in. She turned to Christian, her voice shaking. "Your car, where did you park?" Christian's expression darkened as he rubbed his hands together for warmth. "It's a block away. I didn't want to park in the driveway." Lauren's face twisted in frustration, but she nodded, like she was still trying to form a plan. "Okay. We just need to get there." But as soon as she stepped off the porch, her bare foot sank into the snow, and she yelped. She stumbled back, shivering violently. "God, it's freezing!" she gasped, hugging her arms to herself. Christian clenched his jaw. We don't have a choice. Lauren hesitated. Then, slowly, she turned back toward the door. She tried one last time. Her voice wasn't angry anymore. It was softer, almost desperate. Ethan, please. Just let me in. I swear, we can fix this. I took a deep breath, gripping the doorknob as I leaned in just enough for my voice to carry through the wood. No, Lauren, I said, my tone eerily calm. You did this. Now live with it. Then I walked away. Lauren's muffled sob was the last thing I heard before the wind swallowed her voice completely. She didn't knock again. When I glanced back through the window, I saw them moving, stumbling through the snow, Christian dragging Lauren along as they made their way toward the street. I didn't stay to watch them leave. I didn't need to. They were gone. For the first time in years, the house was truly silent. And I had never felt more at peace. Morning came slowly. The storm had passed, leaving the world outside buried in a thick, unbroken blanket of snow. Everything looked untouched, peaceful. But inside, the fire had burned all night. I sat in my chair, staring at the last glowing embers, feeling nothing. No rage, no regret. Just a quiet, detached clarity. It was done. Lauren and Christian were gone. Wherever they had ended up last night, I didn't care. That wasn't my problem anymore. I stood up, stretched, and made my way to the front door. The only sign they had been here at all were the faint, half-covered footprints leading away from the porch. I reached down, peeled off the envelope I had taped to the door the night before, and stepped back inside. I had prepared it weeks ago, when the doubts had started creeping in. When the late-night girls' outings became more frequent. When she started guarding her phone like it was her lifeline. I hadn't wanted to believe it back then. I had told myself I was being paranoid. That I was just overthinking. But something in me must have known. I had hired the best divorce lawyer in the state. The kind that didn't just win, they destroyed. The paperwork was already done. Filed. Effective immediately. Lauren had nothing. Her name wasn't on the house. She had no claim to my assets. She would walk away from this with exactly what she deserved, nothing. I let out a slow breath, feeling an unexpected sense of relief. It was over. Or so I thought. It took her less than an hour to find out. The first call came as I was making coffee. I let it ring. The second came minutes later. The third, I answered. Her voice came through the phone, raw and shaking. Ethan, what did you do? I took a sip of coffee before responding. I filed for divorce. A long pause. Then, softer, when? Last night. Silence. Then she exhaled sharply. You can't just. I can, I interrupted. And I did. I could practically hear her spiraling. I could picture her pacing in whatever dingy hotel room she had ended up in, clutching the phone like it was her last lifeline. She swallowed hard. I don't have access to my accounts. That's right, I said simply. Ethan. Her voice broke, panic creeping in. I can't even book a hotel for another night. I don't have anything. My cards are frozen. I know, I said, my tone cool. That was when she realized. This wasn't just some emotional reaction. This wasn't an impulsive decision. This was planned. Meticulously. Ruthlessly. I had cut her off completely. For the first time in her life, she had no backup plan. No safety net. She had nothing. Her breath came fast and shallow through the receiver. You don't have to do this. I took another sip of coffee. I didn't have to do a lot of things, Lauren. A choked sound, like she was trying to hold back tears. I can't even get into our house. It's not our house, I corrected. It's mine. And you don't live here anymore. More silence. Then, finally, she whispered, I never thought you'd do this to me. I let that sink in before answering. Neither did I. Then I hung up. And for the first time in 7 years, I felt free. Lauren didn't call again. Maybe she was still trying to process it. Maybe she was too busy scrambling for a way out of the mess she had made. But I wasn't done watching her world collapse. I leaned back in my chair and refreshed my phone. The fallout was already beginning. The first sign was social media. I hadn't posted anything direct. No names, no accusations. Just a simple message. Betrayal cuts deepest when it comes from the one who promised forever. The comments flooded in. Support. Sympathy. Outrage. People weren't stupid. They connected the dots fast. Lauren had built an image of herself as this polished, sophisticated, untouchable woman. She had surrounded herself with the right friends, the right connections. But all it took was one slip for them to turn on her. And Christian, he wasn't faring any better. A quick search of his name pulled up posts from people in our town. Someone had spotted him at a gas station, shoeless, begging to use the clerk's phone. Another post claimed he had been fired. I clicked on the comments. Wait, isn't this the dude from that cheating scandal? He used to train at my gym. Nobody wants to work with him now. Karma moves fast, huh? Lauren and Christian had always thought they were in control, that they could manipulate the situation, cover their tracks, and move on like nothing had happened. But now, they weren't just dealing with me. They were dealing with everyone. It wasn't long before I heard from her again. This time, she didn't call. She showed up. I heard the knock and knew before I even opened the door. When I pulled it open, there she was, wrapped in an oversized coat, her hair unkempt, her eyes red and swollen. For the first time, she looked small, weak, like she was just now realizing she had lost. "Ethan," her voice cracked. "Can I come in?" I leaned against the doorframe, arms crossed. Why would I do that? She swallowed hard. I don't have anywhere to go. Not my problem. You should have thought about that before you brought another man into my house, I said flatly. Her lower lip trembled. Please. I made a mistake. I was stupid. But you don't have to do this to me. I tilted my head. Do what, Lauren? Let you face the consequences of your own actions. She blinked rapidly, her breath hitching. I don't have money. I can't even book a hotel. You froze everything. Yes, I said. That's the point. Her chest rose and fell in uneven breaths. I could see the wheels turning in her head. The part of her that always manipulated, always controlled, was still looking for an angle. So I cut her off before she could find one. You lost, I said quietly. And now you get to live with it. She reached out, desperate, but I stepped back, out of her reach. Then, without another word, I shut the door in her face. I locked it. And I walked away. She didn't knock again. And I didn't look back. Days passed. Then a week. Lauren disappeared from my life, just like I knew she would. I didn't bother looking for her, didn't wonder where she was staying, or how she was getting by. That part of my life was over. But I wasn't naive. People like Lauren don't just accept defeat. They wait. They plot. And then they try to crawl back when they think they've found a weak spot. I was prepared. So when an unknown number flashed on my phone, I already knew who it was before I answered. Ethan. Her voice was softer now, fragile, like she wanted me to believe she was a victim in all this. I didn't say anything. She took a breath, then exhaled shakily. I just wanted to talk. I stayed silent. She hesitated. I know I messed up. I know I hurt you. No. She didn't know. If she did, she never would have done it in the first place. But she wasn't calling to apologize. She was fishing, for sympathy, for a way back in. So I let her talk. I don't know what to do, Ethan. Her voice cracked. Everyone turned on me. My friends won't even answer my calls. I can't find a job. I can't. Her breath hitched like she was about to cry. She wanted me to feel bad for her. The same woman who had stood in my house, laughing with another man as I lay asleep just feet away. The same woman who had looked me in the eye and tried to spin lies when she got caught. I leaned back in my chair, my voice calm when I finally spoke. You don't know what to do. I repeated. Silence. Figure it out. Her breath came fast. Ethan, please. I hung up. Blocked the number. And just like that, she was gone. Weeks turned into months. The town moved on. I moved on. Lauren. Last I heard, she was still struggling, bouncing from couch to couch, barely scraping by. The scandal never left her. Employers didn't want her. Friends didn't trust her. And Christian, he vanished. After his name was dragged through the mud, his reputation went up in flames. His job offers dried up. He tried leaving town, but you can't outrun karma. And me? I thrived. I rebuilt. I didn't just move on, I came back stronger. And the best part? I never had to lift a finger. Lauren and Christian had destroyed themselves. All I did was give them a little push. And I slept just fine every night knowing that. Thank you for visiting my YouTube channel. Your support, likes, and comments truly inspire me to create even more engaging content. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. You're a part of this amazing community, and I'm thrilled to share my stories with you. See you in the next video on YouTube.